Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Report. Today, we're going to be going over some quarterbacks for this Week One DFS slate. Super excited, guys! It's almost here. We're 2 more weeks. That's it, and we're there. So glad you guys have been enjoying the videos. It's been really fun putting these on and seeing you guys come around to the show, man. We've got 40 subscribers, 42 subscribers since we started this channel literally a week ago. So that's pretty awesome, and almost to 1,000 views. So super thankful for you guys. Don't forget to keep commenting if you guys want to add some input or talk crap or whatever you want to do. Come down in the comment sections. Also want to say you can also leave a like and subscribe too. That would help the channel out a lot. So without that being said, let's go ahead and start over our quarterbacks. And our Week One quarterback that I'm not going to completely fade, but stay away from in a sense, depending what ownership is, and hopefully we'll be getting them here in the next week or so. But um, hopefully we can fade Jaden Daniels. And I know I say that haphazardly, but I really think that this New York Giants defense is legit. Especially if we don't see a Terry McLaurin with this Jaden Daniels crew, we don't know what to expect. Um, I know everybody's hot on Krosky Merritt and this offense as a whole, but if there's no McLaurin, I don't know what this offense can do. And maybe they're going to sign him, since getting rid of B-Rob. But hopefully he stays away for this Week One and make this quarterback situation for us a little bit easier, in my opinion. I know he's the highest rated quarterback in the game. I mean, on the slate, pricing wise, and probably statistically as well, he'll project the highest. But I don't really like the play as much as you would think for a Jaden Daniels only slate, right? There's some guys that I really like, and we can go over. I think there's 6, and I have a few honorable mentions, and we'll go over them and pretty much lay out my thesis on how these games end up playing out and the quarterback ceiling potential and some stacks to go along with these guys. So the first quarterback I want to talk about is Bo Nix. Now, Bo Nix is in a cheap spot here at 6,300, probably a little underpriced. I think we're going to see him at that 68, 7K range by the end of the year. If his rushing upholds comparatively to last year, I mean, he tore it up last year. So I think he was the 6th fantasy quarterback in the NFL. So that's pretty big out of a rookie. This Tennessee defense actually gave up 5.2 rushing yards to quarterbacks last year per rush. So, I'm thinking that Bo Nix gets a little mobile in this game and really kind of spreads his field out a little bit. And hopefully you can get Courtland Sutton at a decent ownership price. I'm a little weary on it. And these aren't final plays, and we'll have some videos, coming closer to season. But I really think that this Courtland Sutton Bo Nix stack could be the stack to do it. Um, I really like Sutton. I like Mims as well, receiving wise. I know he had a few good games last year where he absolutely went off. I know one was against the Bengals. But this Bengals team, I mean, sorry, not the Bengal team, but this Tennessee team, um, the only thing I worry about is Cam Ward going to be enough to push, right? Is he going to be able to push this offense enough to have to throw the ball and not just Sean Payton run scheme it the whole game with 4 different running backs? So very, very cognizant of that. I'm aware. But hopefully, we can maybe see a little bit better game than what we're expecting. And we'll get into Cam Ward later in the show. But just want to say that I really like Bo Nix this week. He'll be in my player pool for sure. I'll have him owned quite a bit. Another quarterback I found reasonably priced too is Michael Penix. He's at 56, I think. See, Michael Penix, he's at 5,600. Another good play against this Tampa Bay team. This defense didn't add much. We know their secondary was getting torched last year. I hope that, you know, that Penix can really take that step forward in this year two program and actually go to another level as a pocket passer. And, Drake London's an awesome receiver. And, fantasy drafts have shown that all throughout the summer. A lot of people are high on London. I'm wanting to see what his ownership will come in at, depending on the stack. But another player that you could add in with this Michael Penix play is a Darnell Mooney stack. Um, it's probably going to be a lot less zones. Um, even if you wanted to go Kyle Pitts, maybe, but that's getting nasty. That's for your Millie Maker stuff, right? That's your high entry type of plays there. But I really think that Penix could, cut this secondary up, really, with no additions to it in the offseason. I think Tampa Bay probably can stop the run, is why I'm leaning more towards a Michael Penix single stack, with a Drake London or a Mooney. I think they can maybe shut down Bijan on the ground, per se, forcing them to throw the ball. And we know Baker and that offense can keep up. Really excited to see that game. That should be a really good week one matchup there in Atlanta. So we'll go ahead and jump over to my next quarterback I like. This is Geno Smith, and he's at 5,100 or 5,200. Yeah, 5,200 against this New England defense who has Christian Gonzalez, who is a Pro Bowler, but he's also hurt with a hamstring injury. They added Carlton Davis, a cornerback as well. But I'm loving these Geno stacks because it allows you to get so cheap, man. Brock Bowers, that's your pay up there. You're paying 6,500 for a tight end. But in addition to Geno this year, I think Geno is a lot better than Aiden O'Connell was last year. Gardner Minshew, I think they got an actual quarterback one. I'm sure I don't think he's going to be highly owned. I really don't, just because they're on the road. But I think Geno stacks can work. Jacoby Myers is super cheap. I believe he's at like a 5,200 price tag. If 5,100 as well. So you're right. It's 17 grand. For those three players, if you wanted to double stack them. But love Geno this week. Just want to say the reason behind I love Geno is not only that it's a good play, and I think Geno's a legit quarterback. I really think that this Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers tandem can work very well. I'm looking for Brock Bowers to take another step forward with an actual quarterback this year, and super excited to see that. I was high on him last year. Love him this year. 6,500 seems a little cheap for a Brock Bowers, especially if we're going to see another 8 to 10 catch per game average again this year. So super excited for that. Another quarterback I want to mention here is possibly my favorite DFS play of the week. Quarterback wise, for higher entry stuff, maybe not single entry. I'm not too dialed in there, but I think I got a good feeling on this Cincinnati team. I think Joe Flacco is going to come out there and really give them a run for their money. I think this could have a shootout potential here. You have Burrow and Flacco gunslinging it at the helm. Just hopefully a line can block a little bit. I really think that, at $4,900, he doesn't have to do a lot. If we can get a 16, 17 point game out of Flacco, that could definitely get us there, especially on a low scoring week, which I think week one will be. I think Flacco can actually, produce a well enough score to get us into that, top 10% of lineups, really move up the board, especially when you consider a Jerry Jeudy stack or a Tillman stack. A Tillman's like a 3,600, so you're getting really cheap, allows you to pay up at running back, which I think you might have to do this week. So Jerry Judy's at 5,400 and Tillman is he might be 737. I'm not for sure. I can't remember. 4,400. Okay, so he's priced up a little bit, but last year he definitely had some games with our boy there, Jameis Winston. So looking for a similar type of season out of Tillman. Maybe Judy's starting to attract a little more attention. Maybe teams are actually thinking he's legit, which I have high hopes that he's legit this year. at $5,400 this week for Jerry Jeudy. Really cheap. 4,600 for Tillman. Stupid cheap. Those three guys you can get right around that 15K range, 16K range on your total price in on three players. In a potential shootout game, the 5.5 point dogs that they are, I really think that this game could have a potential to shoot out. All right, so next on our list is the QB range. So we went over some of my top plays that I like there. I'll have a majority of my ownership towards those fellas. Honorable mentions: we have Cam Ward, one of the guys in a comic section. We were discussing back and forth, and uh, he thinks that Cam Ward is a bust, and he very well could be right. But on a week one basis, and we don't know what to expect, I want to take a stab there, against a tough Denver defense for sure. Pat Surtain is a dog. But, at Ridley's price, 5,100 and Cam Ward's price at 5K, you're getting a cheap stack with a potential target heavy game on Calvin Ridley. A lot of buzz coming out of training camp is that they definitely got a hook up between those two, and super excited to see Calvin Ridley. He's just so consistent on a game-to-game basis. You're going to get 80 yards out of Calvin Ridley most games, and that was with some terrible quarterback play. And really excited to see what this rookie quarterback can come in and out of Miami to do. Another guy that I found interesting that's probably going to be, and if he's super low ownership, he might move up into some of my top player rankings. And that is a Kyler Murray. This New Orleans team is terrible. I want to take any stabs I can at that. And a Kyler Murray with a not a Michael, a Marvin Harris Jr. Lineup stack, or a McBride and Murray stack, fine with me. He's one of my honorable mentions. Another one that I'm low key high on is a Bryce Young. Stacks are super cheap there with a Leggett. Even if you wanted to stack him and get really weird, you could stack him with a Chuba Hubbard and a Thielen stack or something of that nature. And Bryce Young's looking to take that step forward with Dave Canales, the quarterback reviver, bringing quarterbacks off of their deathbed, basically. I really think that Bryce Young can really, getting to find his groove this year, and hopefully he brings Thielen along for a ride. I know there's some trade rumors that Minnesota's looking to pick him back up. Thielen, we'll see where we're at with that. But Thielen's really cheap too. Bryce Young's only at 5,700. I think that's too cheap for Bryce Young with his rushing upsides. Another quarterback that's a little shakier. We don't really know what to expect. I mean, we're expecting bad, but we're playing a terrible Indianapolis defense. Is a Tua Tagovailoa stack. Tua is one of my, maybe my underrated QBs here. We can get him cheap with a Tyreek or a Waddle at 5,800. Tyreek's at 67. So, not bad plays all around there. I think Waddle's superly cheap. I think he might be in that 5K range, which he should be. 57. It's a little steep, but I think you could probably swing it, especially if you think this game's a shootout, perhaps. Miami's defense is not that great as well. Losing Jalen Ramsey. So who knows? Maybe, Danny Dimes comes in and starts slinging it for everyone. And, quarterback is one of those things where you got to get just about right. There's some weeks where you can get a lower salary guy, but you kind of want to stay in that. In my opinion, punting at quarterback is one of the better options on weeks like these, just because there's not so many points needed. I don't think, especially when you look at quarterbacks surrounding him, Baker Mayfield types, Jaden Daniel types. If Jaden Daniels wasn't playing this New York Giants defense, I would probably really want to swing him this week, but that's neither here or there. Um, just want to say that these lineups, guys, are all speculative, but I think I got a good read on this week one kind of feng shui mashup we have of all these different teams. But with that being said, guys, super excited for the season. Can't wait to bring out a running back video, which should be out here in the next day or so. So thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the show. Comment down in the comment section below if you guys want to talk. Would love to chat some DFS with you guys. Yeah, super excited for the year and just happy you guys are enjoying the content. So keep it up, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.